Wife I just shy of 20 years, cheats with coworker. My 46 became suspicious of my wife, 46 a few weeks before spring break. The first sign was she went away for a girls' weekend with two of her coworkers to one of their lake houses. She had done this before, but when she returned, she was groomed very differently. As a child of the 80s, I definitely prefer a natural womanly aesthetic, and she came home from the weekend completely shaved. I thought it was strange, as she had never preferred that look, but there was a hot tub at the lake house, and I chalked it up to her cleaning up for the hot tub. The second sign was the next week she was out late, and when she came home, she went straight to the shower. She never showers at night. It was at that point I became 90 to 95% sure something was going on. I was frozen, not sure how to confront or what to say. I sat on it for a week until we were taking a road trip with our two kids to New York. While there, I told her of my suspicions, cause she caught me in an ugly cry while listening to the musical aspects of love. She denied for a week. As we were coming home, she was going to a conference out of town for 4 days. I caught her packing lingerie, and that was indefensible. It all started to trickle out. At the holiday party, her AP put his hand on her thigh while they sat at a table together. She said it made her uncomfortable, and she froze, but didn't tell him to take his hand off. Later that evening, they found themselves alone, and he kissed her, and she kissed him back. Weeks after this came out, she revealed that that night was the first night they fucked in her car. The evening before her conference, when it all started to come out, she told me AP was going to be at the conference too. She said she would break it off and wanted me to know it wasn't anything but sex. We met and started dating when we were 17. We were each other's first and onlys. She is still my only. We both cried. She promised to break it off at the conference. I was a wreck. On Life 360 the whole time. I knew based on patterns that things were happening there. We chatted on FaceTime evenings, but not long. She come home and said she ended it. I demanded all the truths. Don't know if this was a misstep, but it's what I needed. She unveiled a lot the night she got back. They had been having sex, a lot of sex, since the holiday party. They started in the car in parking lots, which seems crazy and dangerous of lewdness for me. Her boss let her use the lake house for the weekend. She was with him the whole weekend. At the conference, she told him I found out and that this trip was their last fling. She had sex with him each night of the conference. I am destroyed. She says she loves me. She says she doesn't want a divorce. AP is married with kids also. She has been taking a certain shot that has helped her lose more than 45 pounds over the past 9 months, and that the new attention was the appeal. She also said the sex was different. AP is aggressive, pulls hair, holds her neck. It's very different than how I am. She says it was just about sex. That is what is so personal and shaming. I love my wife. I can't imagine a world without her. I am going to see a psychologist, but the appointment is still a month away. Couldn't get an appointment for 8 weeks. I just don't know if I can ever trust or forgive. I can't look at her without feeling sick. I find myself wondering if I should be less loving during sex or more aggressive. She seems like a different person, and I feel as if I am not enough. I hear what is being said, but there is a deep, almost 30-year history here. There is an unspeakable depth of love. Leaving seems the only option, but it also seems impossible. We discussed her not going on the conference, but it was a necessity for work, and it all came out the night before she was to go. We discussed what breaking it off looked like. I was lost and broken at the time, and essentially said, get whatever it is out of your system and come back to me. I think this is my greatest regret of my actions. She is remorseful. She is ashamed. She is infinitely apologetic. We haven't told or shared with anyone. She's petrified her family, her father and sister. We'll find out. She didn't want to share the things she shared. I had to know. At first she was aloof in what she shared, but I made her say it all. I would ask for details, and it did hurt her when she saw my pain. Ultimately, she did ask, "Haven't you ever just wanted to fuck somebody?" And while I admitted to being human and lustful, that I would never and could never. And that's the hard part, too. Up until early March, I would have sworn the same for her. I think it's undoubtedly true that her drive for their sexual relationship was greater than it's ever been for us. We had what I would consider pretty normal sex, about once a week or more likely about 3 times a month. That's unknown and unexperienced is where my mind lingers. We have not had sex since this came to life, 1 out of health concerns. They did not use protection, and 2 because I just can't. Our 20th anniversary is weeks away, and we are taking a solo trip to reunitate and reconcile our marriage. I only wish my counseling appointment was before. We have talked about, if this doesn't work, then we may be irreparable. My heart can't bear that thought, but my stomach and limbic system are living on cortisol, and I'm just incredibly sad and broken. I understand being called a simp, but my wife is the only person I have in this world. My parents have passed, and my siblings lives 2,000 plus miles away. My wife and our family is my world. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my channel. There are many great stories for you on my channel. Thank you for watching.